Hey YouTube! I got a request to do a video on what happens in BMT and how BMT goes and some things, what I thought about it and whatnot. So I'm going to do a video on that today. I actually have the schedule for every week of BMT, like the legit schedule. I will take pictures of these, I don't know, and post them somewhere, I don't know. But just want to go over them really quick and put my thoughts in here and there. So 0 week, we got there on Tuesday night. We got off the bus from the airport and go into the PRC, which is the auditorium. You're going to go in and get your backpack, get your parka, and everything else that comes with your backpack initiative. You can go on the Air Force website and you can actually find the backpack initiative, and it goes over everything that is inside the backpack. Then you go into the auditorium part and you go down and you eat your box lunch, which is disgusting. It's absolutely gross. I had a roast beef sandwich. It had Oreos, a little juice box, and pretzels. And then after you do that and they get you in process there, they send you up higher in the stands, and then you sit up there and wait for your name to come up on the screen. And when your name comes up on the screen, all those names that are on the screen with your name is who is in your flight. Then you go to your where you're going to be living, to your dorm. If you are in Disneyland dorms, then you're going to just walk. And if you're in Alcatraz, then you are going to ride a bus. I was in Alcatraz, so I rode a bus. When you get off the bus, you're going to have your MTLs yelling at you, telling you what to do, how to do it, where to do it. And then you're going to get upstairs, you're going to pick a bed, and they have a little bit of fun with you, make you go back and forth to your bed. Then they just make you put your bag on top of your locker, get ready for bed, and then it's bedtime. We didn't get woken up on the next day until 10 o'clock. I heard one flight say that they got woken up early, but other than that, I've never heard anybody else get woken up before 10. So I guess that depends on your MTL, but don't plan on waking up before 10. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be looking here from now on because I don't remember what we did. On Wednesday, we did drill until lunchtime, so we just learned some basic drill movements, learned how to step around the squadron and march as a flight. We had lunch at like 12:30, so we didn't get breakfast that day because we didn't wake up till 10, and then we had lunch at 12:30. At 13:30, we had a health, morale, and wellness class. So that's just a class going over health and wellness. We get an initial phone call at 3 o'clock that day. So on Wednesday, you're going to get a phone call in 0 week, but it's a quick phone call. Like literally, you say your address, you have a script that you have to read, and then you can't say anything else after. It's just I love you. I actually didn't use a phone call because they give you the option to text, and I texted because obviously the address comes out right that way, and I already knew I was gonna cry if I called. So, and my husband was actually at work at 3 o'clock anyways, so I didn't know if he would answer. So I texted. At 1600, 4 o'clock, we had our squadron tour, so they took us around and showed us the whole squadron and showed us all about that. And then we had dinner at 1700, 5 o'clock. Every day, Reveille goes off at 5 o'clock, so it's when the national anthem plays. You have to stop and salute if you're outdoors, so that's interesting. And then at 17:30, we started learning about how to set up our dorms a little bit and doing all that, how to make a bed and stuff like that. And then we go to bed every night at 9 o'clock, which is a good time to go to bed. You honestly want to go to bed earlier than that. Then on Thursday, we had a briefing at 4:30 a.m. We had early wake up and then breakfast at 6 a.m. Then we transited to go get our pay cards because you get a $400 pay card, and we got that on Thursday. And then we went to the BX and got stuff we needed at the BX. You're only allowed to get certain things. They have like an aisle of just stuff that you can get. You can't leave that aisle that day. And then we had student training time. The guys went and got their haircuts, and the girls, well, I guess, and then the girls and guys went and got their first clothing issues. So that's when we got our ABUs and stuff like that. And then we went and got running shoes. So if you are going or planning on buying running shoes for BMT, don't do it unless you think you absolutely need them, because they issue you good running shoes that are running brands. They're not crappy shoes. They're good shoes. So unless you're really picky, don't go and buy shoes. Then we had lunch and had more training time after lunch. So learning whatever they needed to teach us at the time. I don't remember if it was drill or learning stuff in the dorm. I don't remember, but it was one or the other. Going back to lunch, they give you like 10 minutes to eat. It was like the quickest amount of time ever. Like, you literally sit down, scarf your food down, and then you get out of there. They make you drink 2 hydration sources, and for the first 2 weeks, like, people were having such a hard time drinking all that water. If you drink a water beforehand and a water after, I promise you, you'll be able to drink all your water. Drink a water before you start eating and you'll be fine. And then at 1400 we had a commander's briefing, and then at 1500 we had coping with stress class, and then we had a UCMJ class, and then we had dinner, and then we had drug testing that day. So we do get drug tested on that Thursday, and then of course back to the squadron and do whatever the MTL wants us to do until bedtime. Friday of 0 week, we woke up and had a briefing, and then we did our immunizations and blood draws. So they draw your blood to make sure that you don't have any sexually transmitted diseases or anything. They give you immunizations, so they give you all your shots and do all that stuff. Then we learned more about how to live and do stuff in the dorm. We then had lunch and then training again. Then we had a chapel orientation. So lots of classes, as you can already see. We're only in the 3rd day, and we've already had like 10 classes and briefings. Another briefing, dinner, and then we had a BMT PT program briefing. And then on Saturday we had our first run day. So it was our first PT day on that Saturday of 0 week. We got to run. And then we had breakfast. You always exercise first and then breakfast. So I never mentioned, we wake up at 5:45 every day. We have to be at PT by 6. And then breakfast is sometime between 7 and 8:30, depending on when your flight's eating. We had more orientations, then lunch, and then more briefings, and then learning more about your recruit living area. Every week starts on a Sunday. So week 1 started on Sunday, of course. Everyone talks about how wonderful Sundays are, and they really are wonderful when you get into further weeks. But the first Sunday is hell because you have an MTI and they're up your butt all day, but you don't know what you're doing yet. So you need that structure. All day is pretty much learning and going to church, and that's pretty much it on Sunday. Now we're on to Monday of week 1. We had a run day. We don't have PTs on Sundays. Didn't know if I mentioned that. Monday we had run day. We had like 4 classes that day. We got our weapons issued, so you get your M16 and you get that issued on that Monday. And then we learned how to break them down and use them a little bit. And then we went and learned how to do dry cleaning and drop off dry cleaning. And we went to dinner, and same old every day. Wake up, dinner, lunch, same stuff. Tuesday we had 5 classes, mandatory study time. So we're starting to study on Tuesday of week 1. Wednesday of week 1, we had more immunizations. I'm telling you, you get immunizations like every other week, if not every week. I got 11 shots while in BMT. Lots of drill on Wednesday. That's like pretty much all we did on Wednesday. On Thursday, we had processing, so we started our in-processing. That pretty much takes up the whole day, to be honest. And then we had more classes, more study time. Friday of week 1, we did not have PT that day. We had an early wake up and went to medical and dental processing. So that's when you get your eyes checked and your teeth checked. Did lots more drill. Had a briefing. And then on Saturday of week 1, we had our first PT test. And then we drilled all day. Every Saturday is pretty much spent doing drill. And that's like literally all you do every Saturday is drill. Week 2, we same old every day, classes and drill. On the Monday of week 2, you get your first and mandatory patio break, so you get to go hang out on the patio. They no longer have payphones on the patio, and they used to, but they don't anymore. So you don't get to call and use the payphones. But you do get to use the vending machines and hang out and talk. And there's no NTLs allowed on the patio, so that's good. Tuesday of week 2, we had details. So you wake up at 3:30 in the morning and go to your details. They assign you different places, different things, and you spend the whole day doing details. I got out of it for some reason. I don't remember. I didn't have to do any details. Then Wednesday of week 2, we had our first open ranks, so that's when they check your dress and appearance and your ABUs and make sure that you're dressing properly. We had lots more classes, and that was pretty much it. Thursday, we had career guidance, so that's when you go and if you're open, you'll start the process of picking your jobs and learning about that. And if you're not open, you just, there's stuff you do. It's career guidance. It's all about your job. We had more classes, and then Friday of week 2, classes all day. And then Saturday, of course, drill. Week 3, sorry if I'm going through these really quick. We do classes every day. Week 3, the Tuesday of week 3, we had our second clothing issue. So that's when you get your blues and your name tapes on your uniforms. Because you don't have name tapes on your uniforms for the first few weeks. And we had classes all week, classes. On Friday of week 3, you had your interview session. So if you are open, you're going to go in and do your interview for your jobs, to pick which jobs you want and stuff like that. And then if you already have your job, they do interview you again to make sure you're still qualified for whatever reason. And then drill on Saturday, of course. Week 4, we did CBurn training. So like you are going to do CBurn on week 4, which is the gas chamber. So that's super exciting. It wasn't as bad as I thought. All the guys were choking and gagging and all that. I just cried. I didn't cough or anything. I just cried. Like, you can't help but cry. Like, your eyes tear up no matter what. We did more details in week 4, and we did our flight photos and individual photos in our blues. We also had a base liberty week 4 and a mandatory phone call. So you do get a phone call that Thursday of week 4 home to your family. It's usually 15-20 minutes depending on your MTL and how good your flight is. So just to recap, you're going to get a phone call week 0, just to call them and tell them what you're going to say. And then week 4, you're going to get a phone call to actually talk to them for like 15 minutes or plus depending on your MTL. Week 5 is Beast, so the whole week is spent at Beast. It's pretty exciting. I liked Beast. For breakfast and lunch, you're going to eat MREs, and then for dinner, you do get a hot meal, and it is the bomb. Like, they are so good at cooking at Beast. Beast was very exciting. I liked it. It was better than being at the dorms, to be honest. I really enjoyed it. Then there's week 6, and from there, after week 4, like, time goes by so quick. Week 6, we started doing all our PCs and our tests and getting stuff set up for graduation. So we started doing our weapon PCs. We picked up our flight photos, On Wednesday of week 6, you do your PT test. On Thursday of week 6, you're going to do your open ranks and your drill PC. And then Friday, of course, you're going to do your EOC, so your test over all your courses that you've been taking the whole time. And then on Saturday of week 6, there's blood donors. You get to donate your blood if you want to. On our week 6, there was the 9/11 run, so we got to do our 9/11 run. And then also in week 6, you get a mandatory phone call after the EOC to tell them if you passed or not. So that's, again, another 20-minute phone call unless your MTL gives you more time for whatever reason. And that would be your last phone call before you see your family. I got an extra phone call somewhere in between there because I won a drill competition. So if they have a drill competition or something like that, be serious about it, because you can win a phone call home, and it's like the best feeling ever to win a phone call home. Also, moving on to week 7. Week 7 is literally preparation all week. Practice for parade and everything. On Thursday, you're going to do your open ranks and you get to see your family. You're going to have base live that day. And then on Friday, you're going to have your parade practice. I mean your parade, not parade practice, your actual parade. And that's going to be in your blues, and you get town pass that day after you get released. And then on Saturday, you have town pass all day. And then Sunday, depending on how good your flight is and what you got rewarded and whatever, you're going to have your town pass that day. But if you're extra good, you're going to have town pass that day if your guys are good and get awarded that. But just normally it's base liberty. So that's about our schedule. A very, very quick overview of our schedule for BMT. I will, of course, go back and make another video about certain things that do's and don'ts about BMT, but I wanted to make a schedule BMT video because I know I was very interested about what was going to happen, how many phone calls I was going to get, and what that really meant. I will tell you there are payphones in the BX that you may be able to use on your base liberties, but don't count on it because the line's usually really long and it costs money, and it's usually not worth it because you're not going to be able to talk that long because so many people are in line. I didn't use the payphones at all. After week 7 and you graduate and your family leaves, there's Airman's Week. Airman's Week is a piece of pie. It's supposed to teach you how to be an airman and be a leader. So you're kind of on your own all week. You earn base liberty every day, or don't earn it, I guess. So every day at 5:30 you get to go and explore the base, go and do what you want to do. Go bowling, go to the movies, as long as you're back before 2000. Yeah, 2000. And then that's about it for Airman's Week. It's totally different. There's ice cream, like soft serve ice cream, and you get to sit with whoever you want to sit with at lunch, and you get to watch movies, and you get to listen to music, and it's totally chill. And then it's off to tech school, wherever you're going for tech school. Of course, I've already made a video kind of sort of on tech school, but if you have any questions, please drop them down below. And like I said, I'll make another video for do's and don'ts during BMT. Till next time, see you later.